station. Once again. Now, if we look on track 1, going north, it is a red. It is red. And now if you look the other way, it's a green. I don't think you can see that, but it's showing a green over. But track 1 going south is displaying a green over red. So that means something is going that way. Meanwhile, there's an ambulance. There we go. So now all we have to do is wait. I don't know, that might be it looks like a little bit of concrete that might have fallen off at some point. Here we see King County Metro Coach 9677 on Route 566 Express to Auburn. Alright. So far, nothing. So far, no change. These two tracks here we're put here in the early 1900s. One was probably the Northern Pacific track, and the other was a and the other was probably a Milwaukee Road track. But they've since merged into Burlington Northern, and now they are currently the Burlington Northern and Santa Fe. Now the reason for the signs on the fence is because trains through Kent can regularly reach adequate ramming speeds. That is, any speed over as it can. That's because trains through here regularly reach considerable ramming speeds, usually around 40 to 80 miles an hour. Or actually, no, usually between 50 to 80 miles an hour. The fastest of which is the fastest of the lot being the fastest of the lot being the Coast Starlight and the Cascades Talgo trains. Swire Shipping in, no train. I'm thinking now what might be happening is right now is the dispatcher down in dispatcher over there in Fort Worth, Texas, is probably getting a stretch of track out of King Street Rail Station. What might be happening is the dispatcher in Fort Worth, Texas, is getting a stretch of track out of King Street Rail Station that way, ready for the next train. In the meantime, what I'm going to do is I'm going to temporarily set the phone, set the feed. There we go. Now, if any corporate big shot at BNSF is watching, this fence, this stretch from somewhere down yonder by, I believe it's Auburn. This little stretch of track here between, it's like going from Auburn to Tukwila, is perfect for a triple. Is perfect for a center freight bypass. It's actually wide enough for us. I believe it actually looks wide enough for a center freight bypass. That way, That way, they can squeeze more traffic through. That way, they can squeeze more traffic. That way, they can squeeze more traffic through the area. That way, they can get more traffic through the area, and thus increase their revenues, and maybe even their profits. Or should I say, yeah, it's like adding another track between Auburn and Tukwila. I believe that will not only cause I think that'll be a nice increase in their profits, and hopefully their workers' wages. But then again, that's just my 2 cents. In recent years, lawmakers passed. In recent years, a law was drivers have been for some time now. All bus drivers, both public and private, have been required to stop at all railway grade crossings. That was the result of far too many direct result of far too many previous buses stalling on the train tracks, of far too many buses stalling on the train tracks and eventually getting hit by the whammy tax. And eventually getting hit by a whammy tax known as a several £100,000 train unable to stop. Can't stop on a dime. Million-pound freight trains roll through Kent frequent enough for the train tracks to fall slightly below the road surface. Resulting in slight speed canyons that catch many a speeding driver unaware. That catch many a speeding driver by surprise. Given that sounder service given that there are no more Sounder commuter trains for the day. And as you can see from across the tracks, it's that time of year again. A time when people decorate trees. They decorate trees and spend lewd amounts of money on gifts and maybe even a couple medical bills. My hands are cold, which is crazy even with these gloves. obviously I did not see that. Obviously I did not see the green light for track 2. This is why you pay attention in multi-track. This is why you have to really keep your head on a swivel in multi-track territory. Because you never know what'll happen next. Now, if you saw the 19 minutes of, now if you saw my video, 19 minute trains, you will know that that being in multi-track territory has its advantages and disadvantages. And one of the key disadvantages of multi-track territory is that one or more trains could potentially block your view of another. Right, so the Amtrak Cascade number 511 should be here will probably be here within the next 5 minutes. Now, basically, from here all the way to now, what's really cool is that from the curve after Tukwila, the curve basically from Tukwila until the outskirts of Sumner. It was like basically what's cool about this particular, what I find cool about this particular stretch is that between Tukwila and basically the outskirts, basically from, it's like, yeah, this whole stretch is basically a straight line between Tukwila, between Tukwila right after the junction, with the Union Pacific. We're basically in the middle of just an absolute line straight routing that stretches from Tukwila. It basically stretches from Tukwila to the outskirts of Sumner. And that was probably the horn for 511. Yep, it was. Now you can see why they have that danger sign. Because that was about 80 miles an hour. Because that was about, I'd have to imagine about 500,000 pounds of metal traveling at about 80 miles an hour. So yeah, that will do it for, Now that was a quick turnover, because if you look, the signal for track 1 going north is now green. Although granted, the one down there was green for about was green for about 45 minutes. So you never know.